So today I'm here at Denton Golf Club. I've got a really exciting review for you guys because today I have a brand new club from TaylorMade. We are looking at the P7 CB irons. Before we get into the video, if you haven't already, please make sure that you're subscribed to the Golf A Lot YouTube channel. It doesn't cost you anything, but it massively supports us, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. So first up, why am I so excited to be putting these to the test? Well, when we were over for the TaylorMade press launch on these irons, they told us that Rory tested out the 4-iron, he hit 4 shots and he was sold on this. And he then went on to win the Wells Fargo Championship with that 4-iron in the bag. So I'm excited to see today if I can be convinced with these irons as quickly as he was. In terms of first impressions, I think these irons are very different to what we tend to see with the TaylorMade P Series. These are a brand new club. It's not a new iteration of a different model. This is completely new to the TaylorMade. However, I am getting some flashbacks to some of the earlier TaylorMade clubs. There's some similarities between these and the RAC irons, which I think is quite cool, but definitely a little bit different to anything that we've seen recently. Okay, so how I'm going to test these out, we're just going to go and play a few holes here at Denton. I'm going to talk you guys through how I'm finding them, as well as the TrackMan data that we have for these irons. So I've got 145 yards left here. I've got the 7-iron in my hand. Now, just something to note, when you put it down at the ball, this club is looking a little bit small, a little bit thinner, and that is because these irons were designed with club professionals or plus handicap golfers in mind, so really that elite player. Now, this year, what we're seeing with the P Series, we don't have the MCs anymore. The CBs are not necessarily replacing the MCs, but these are coming in this year and we're not seeing the continuation of the MC model. Let's see how this gets on. That's gone very straight for a club that I hit from like there. Despite the fact that my ball is in the middle of the fairway, we're going for a reload to see if I can find the middle of the face with this one. I have to admit, these are feeling a little bit hard work at the minute. I feel as though in a group of a few balls, I might only get one that I feel like I've struck really, really well. And that's maybe just something that I take for granted with my irons, with them being a little bit thicker and a bit more forgiving. So a lot of people will jump because they want to have that better player iron, but you've got to remember they're not going to be super forgiving. And I'm definitely feeling that with these irons. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the technology that we've got in these clubs. Now, as I already said, they're very small. TaylorMade is going for this very compact shape for the ball strikers out there who want a thin top line and just a compact overall look to their irons. And the other thing they're going for is this best-in-class feel. So what they do to create these irons, they go under a forging process where they're going under 2,000 tons of pressure. Now, TaylorMade is saying that is a lot more pressure than you'll see in the majority of forged irons, which is why these are supposedly giving excellent feel to the golfer. Now, it's not all about distance with these irons, it's about control and consistency. So to help give that to the player, we've got optimized precision weighting and co-forged tungsten in these irons, as well as a precision milled face and grooves to give really optimum levels of spin and control around the greens. Now, that's one of the things that when Rory was testing out the 4-iron in this set, he said that he was seeing a higher launching ball with more spin, but still getting the same carry distances that he was with his previous set. So that was one of the key highlights for him as to why he put that 4-iron in the bag. So as always, we took these clubs over to Hooked and tested them out on TrackMan to get the data to talk through with you guys. So let's have a little look at some of the numbers. Now, essentially, what I was getting from these was pretty much what you would expect from this type of irons. So just to give you the numbers, in terms of the carry distances, with the 9-iron, I was seeing an average carry of 115 yards. 138 yards with the 7 and 160 with the 5. Now those numbers are a little bit on the low side for what I would expect to see, pretty much what I would expect from one club down in my own set. However, that's kind of what we would expect from these clubs because the lofts are going to be a little bit weaker and they're just not designed to give extra distance to people. They're there for more control and consistency. In terms of control, I was pretty impressed with some of the spin rates. So with the 9 iron, I was up at 6,700, 5,600 for the 7 iron, and then 4,500 for the 5 iron. Now for me, those spin rates are pretty high in terms of what I would expect to see, so there definitely was some extra levels of control and spin there. However, what I was finding was that the consistency in terms of how I was hitting the shots wasn't quite there. If we looked to compare these to, say, the P770s, I found those a lot easier to hit. And so my average height and spin was about the same between the P770s and the P7CBs, even though TaylorMade are claiming that you should see a little bit more height and a little bit more spin with the CB irons. Now, when I really hit the irons perfect, I did see those numbers climbing up a little bit. But because mixed in with the CBs, I had more misstruck shots that the clubs didn't have that forgiveness to help me out with. We just saw those numbers being brought down a little bit on average. But with my best shots, we were definitely seeing those numbers getting up there. Okay, so we've got 137 yards here. It's a little bit into wind, so I've got my 7 iron in hand. I'm going to do a 5-ball challenge here. I want to see how we get on in terms of consistency, where each of these 5 balls are going to go, and just see if I'm getting really punished and losing out on distance when I do misstrike the ball. That's the 5, let's go and have a look. So in terms of a dispersion pattern, we've done pretty good with these 4. There is one ball way over there, but we'll come on to that in a second. But for these 4, in terms of the front to back dispersion, I'm really happy with that in terms of the distances. We've obviously got these 2 that have missed a little bit to the left, but to be honest, I'm pretty happy with the result for all 4 of them. What I think is really impressive though, if we come over here, you can see the stopping power that we had from a 7 iron. Bear in mind, we've had this one here has stopped up within less than a yard, and the same for the one at the back of the green there. So definitely seeing that spin and those levels of control with the stopping power. However, there's one ball all the way over there, came up short, came up right. As soon as I hit that one, you could tell from the strike and from the shape of the ball flight that it was just not well hit. And as you can see, I've not got away with it at all. There is definitely as well a little bit of distance has been lost out there, but it's what you'd expect from these irons. We're looking at irons that are there for the better ball striker, the better player, someone who doesn't need that added level of forgiveness. So when you do misstrike one, it's likely that you're going to end up in a situation like that. Coming on to a verdict for the P7 CB irons. In terms of how these irons look, as we said, it's very different to anything that we've seen in the P series irons so far. However, there's a little bit of nostalgia from some of the older TaylorMade irons, which I quite like. There's a little bit more going on in terms of the detailing, but because of the colour scheme, it all comes out very clean and very professional looking. So overall, I really like the look of these clubs. For me, they are just a little bit thin at address and a bit smaller. They don't necessarily inspire loads of confidence, but that's pretty much what we would expect for this better player iron. Because these irons are aimed for more elite players, those kind of ball strikers that don't need that extra forgiveness, I did find the feel of them to be a little bit tricky, and I just found it hard to get these irons going. When I did strike it well and it came right out from the centre, it felt really nice, really soft and really clean. However, on those missed strikes, it just felt a little bit clunky and almost like I was thinning the ball. And you could see very clearly when I had misstruck it because there's very little in terms of forgiveness there. When I did hit them well, I felt as though these irons were living up to the claims that TaylorMade were making in terms of seeing a little bit more spin and the ball launching higher and coming to a stop quicker. Now the P7 CB irons are coming in at £179 per iron. So if you were looking at getting a full set of 7, that is going to be just over £1,200, which is quite a lot of money to spend on irons. It's not the highest price point that we've seen on a set of irons, but it's definitely not cheap. And to be honest, for me, I couldn't justify that for these irons because I didn't see too many performance benefits, and in fact I was actually struggling to get these clubs going out on the course sometimes. Although we've had these claims about Rory putting them in the bag and winning with the 4-iron in the bag, these irons aren't going to magically make you play like Rory. It's more that if you are that better player, you can strike the ball and you have that confidence in your own game, these irons could be right for you because you can reap the performance benefits. Whereas if you're not fully confident and you don't have the best strike going and you like a little bit of forgiveness in your irons, you might find that you're going to struggle with these because they're just not designed for you. Let me know what you guys think about these irons down in the comments, and thank you all for watching and subscribe for more.